What is up, everybody? I hope you're all doing well, and today we are going to be talking about gold. How to make gold, how to save gold, the different things you should use it on, and just generally how to be efficient and not be poor all the time. So one of the first things I noticed was that removing and adding the legendary aspects to gear can be a fairly costly process. So this is something you want to try and minimize. Obviously, you're going to want to be putting legendary aspects on your gear to get stronger and do more damage and all that kind of fun stuff. But one thing I can recommend is to avoid over breaking down and removing the aspects from legendaries. We'll go over here to the occultist and I will explain further. So you have a legendary effect you like. Let's say Hurricane deals increased damage by 16% each second while active. Not bad if you like Hurricane. So you'd think, oh, I want to save this for later in case I start using Hurricane in my build. But as you can see, 71k, that's a lot. It may be a little bit cheaper on low-level stuff, but it's still going to be a pretty hefty chunk of gold. But if you're not going to use it right now, what I recommend doing is holding on to legendaries that have an effect you want and just putting it in your stash. That way you're not burning gold to just have it sitting in your aspects here, but you have it available. So if you come back around and you decide, hey, I'm going to start running Hurricane, I want that legendary effect I saw earlier, you have it, then you can use the gold, but that gold will be effective because you were using it on something you were actively doing instead of just burning gold to have a full tab of legendary aspects in here. So I definitely recommend being careful with that. I would also recommend, especially during the story and leveling progress, being a little bit cautious about just always throwing legendary aspects on your gear, because that is also fairly expensive. What I would recommend is waiting until you see a piece of gear have a significant boost. So like right now, I am level 59. This pair of boots is only 46. Now obviously this will be more apply when you're a lower level and don't have a lot of currency and all that fun stuff. But say this was all low-level stuff, and this piece of gear was very far behind anything I had right now, like this one is, and you wanted a legendary on it. Well, you might consider waiting, because with it being that far behind your level and the rest of your gear, the chance of you getting a significant boost by finding a new piece of that gear will be pretty high, and if you were to slap the legendary effect on it now, so like for me right now, if I were to put a different effect on this, say this didn't have one already, that would be fairly expensive, but the chance of me replacing this piece of gear would be very high, so I would then have to place that effect on it again, and that would basically double the cost. So I'd recommend looking at your gear. If there's something lower, wait until you get a significant boost on that piece of gear, and then spend the money to put your legendary effects on it, and not just, waste money doing it over and over again. The second thing that can be a big money sink is always trying to upgrade all of your gems. You get a lot of gems, lower level, they start working up as you move through the campaign, and into the late game, you'll just get higher level drops of them. So I would not waste the gold by always trying to keep all of your gems upgraded, or, just upgrading all the low tier gems, because you will start just getting the higher tier ones as drops. I know there's a few tiers above this one here. I just have not unlocked them yet somehow. But either way, I wouldn't recommend wasting money on gems. You're gonna just get drops of the ones you'll be using for a while anyways. So just don't waste the gold. You'll get drops of the ones you want. And then another tip within the gem area is unsocketing. Unsocketing this way, where let's say I had a gem here, and I went to unsocket it, it would cost you money, the item would be left alone, and you would get your gem back. This costs quite a bit of gold. So if you're not going to use the piece of gear again, which especially during the leveling process, you will probably not be using it again. So what you want to do is run on down, hopefully going the right direction, unlike me, to the blacksmith, which is right here. And what you want to do, if you're not going to use it again, is simply break it down. If there was a gem in here, you would break it down, and you would simply get the gem back, and this is free, and you keep getting resources. This is a lot more efficient in saving money, and just keeping up with getting more resources for upgrading your gear and all that. So I definitely recommend doing this instead of just unsocketing everything every time. Obviously, if you have, like, say this one had a legendary effect I wanted to hold on to for later or something, and it had a gem, yeah, I'd just take the gem out and hold on to the legendary. But for most of your leveling gear you're going to use during the campaign, this is just a lot more efficient. And then the last main tip is having to do with the selling of items. So you can sell items to, like, weapons, armor, traders, and whatnot, and that can be a good way to get gold, but I wouldn't recommend it until probably, I want to say, like level 40 plus, give or take, as you're getting close to the end of the story. The gear through the leveling process is not worth very much. It starts really cheap and kind of, I want to say around level 30, only ends up at like 5,000 gold, give or take. So it's not a whole lot, but as you can see, though these are legendary, so it's a little bit inflated, items at, level 50 plus are going to be worth like 20, 30, and 40k at a time per, slot, per item. And that's just a lot more gold for the same amount of effort as early, but each item is worth roughly the same resources. So what I do is go through the story, break down everything I find that I'm not using, get all the resources piled up so that later on I have everything I need to upgrade my gear, and then when I start needing money right near the end of the story or just after, then start selling all the rares you get for a while instead of breaking them down, just to build up your money. And that way you really shouldn't run into any gold problems at all. And that is something that you can simply go back and forth if you feel you need more resources, break everything down. If you think you need more gold because you're going to be doing upgrading or extracting legendary effects, blah blah blah, then just sell everything for a while. So once you get near the end of the story, it kind of opens up a lot of choice in how you handle the gold situation, and until the end of the story you really don't need to spend gold on much anyways, which is a whole nother topic. But either way, that's the big things, and I think they can really help a lot in keeping you from being poor and just keeping enough gold around so that you can always do what you want to do. And one last little fun tip, just in case somebody doesn't already know, you can mark items as trash like you were going to break them down, but instead of going to the blacksmith, you can simply go to the merchants and you can just right click them and it'll sell all the trash and save you from having to right click through everything in your inventory. So just in case that wasn't obvious to someone, now you know. Anyway, that covers everything that I've done to make gold, save gold, and all the efficiency that I've been able to just figure out through playing the game casually. So I hope it can help you guys out. If there's anything that you've done that really works well for you, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to know if there's something that's even more efficient or an aspect of it I haven't thought of yet. I'd just really be interested to know what you guys have all come across while playing too. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye.